Hey everybody, welcome to ChangeWorks Interactive. We're back again. It's great to be here. We are filming live from beautiful Touchdown Co-working Studios here in Oakville. And today I have a guest with me that I've spent a lot of time with and talking to quite frequently. Hanna is with us, and she's on the ChangeWorks Interactive team. Welcome, Hanna, to the show again.
Thank you, Kevin.
Great. Now, Hanna is our clinical operations manager. She's a psychotherapist qualifying right now. She's also a qualified ABA therapist. And I think most importantly, she's a real advocate in supporting children and families and adults, and in particular, marginalized communities as well. Now, Hanna, you work in two different areas. And really those main areas are neurodivergent populations. And secondly, newcomers to Canada. Maybe what you can do is tell us a little bit more about each of those areas. How about we tackle first neurodivergent populations?
Well, yes, if you ask me where it stems from both personal and professional experience. I just feel, as a South Asian woman, an immigrant myself, I understand how complex the identity, the stigma, and the system navigation can be, right? So I've also seen the unique challenges and which the neurodivergent kids and the youth kind of face. Particularly paired with cultural barriers or language gaps within their families. So I wanted to bridge that gap clinically and with compassion and cultural, and being the safe support kind of system for them.
That's wonderful. And I'll ask you a question that's kind of related to that. And really, I'd like to know what are some of the, I guess, misconceptions or myths maybe that are out there that you've heard about neurodivergent youth? What have you heard?
One major one is that they're difficult, and another one could be they're not trying hard enough, which is not true. Neurodivergent kids are very sensitive, they are deeply intuitive, and they kind of, are eager to connect. So, but the world we are living in is not set up exactly for them. If you look at it, there's a lot of myth that the therapy is just about correction of their behaviors. In reality, it's not about just correction, right? It's not just about teaching them skills. It's about understanding connections, and it's about empowering them to self-advocate.
Yeah, how important is that, right?
Yes, it's
self-advocacy piece.
Oh, yes.
For sure. Hanna, maybe you could help us. You hear this term so often about neurodivergence, right? What exactly is that? And maybe that's something that our listeners want to know as well, is what are some of the characteristics or qualities or people that are neurodivergent?
So a lot of neurodivergent kids, they have a skill development gap. For example, I work with a child who is very unique in his own way. He is amazing with numbers. He's amazing with, working with family members, but he has a communication and emotionally understanding. I would say the emotional understanding is not like his other aged peers.
Okay. Would some of these kids, for example, would they have a formal diagnosis, or would it be an informal diagnosis that they have?
Well, a lot of kids, because I would say the parents would have to be on top of it if they see that if there is something which is different, or they find that both of their kids are not the same, there is something which is like a gap, maybe that's where the parents might have to step in. It's not failed parenting. I would say it's doing your due diligence as a parent. If you're weak at mathematics, you would get a mathematics tutor in, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much similar. If you see your child's skills are not really developed, that's where you're going to get an extra help in. And and that would support your child, that would empower your child to actually develop its learning on its own pace, develop their learning on its own pace.
I would imagine too that some of those maybe hallmarks would be discovered at the school as well.
Yes, the teachers can help, right? Because the teachers have been in a classroom full of similar age peers, right? And they teach, so they would be able to pick on things and provide more information on what's there, which is a gap, and where can we actually help. It's not just the educational bit, right? We're talking about skills. We're talking about emotional understanding. We're talking about communication. There are so many different areas which we kind of see in a child when you're helping a child, right? It's about giving that confidence to that particular child, where they're able to communicate with their peers, communicate with their teachers, communicate with their parents, initiating a conversation maybe, which might be something they are struggling with.
Right. And a lot of stuff about communications obviously is important. Now, you also work with immigrant populations. Tell our viewers a little bit more about, that may bridge also personal experience as well. But tell me about your interest as a qualifying psychotherapist to work with immigrant populations.
When it comes to immigrant population, we talk about a lot of trauma, grief, loss connected with it.
Yeah.
So pre-migration trauma has a very large impact on many immigrants coming in from different countries, the loss of families or loss of coming from war-torn areas, having that they have actually seen their loved ones going in front of them.
Yeah.
So that has a lot of trauma connected with immigrants coming from war-torn areas. And I feel that my passion to help them is where it could be cultural as well, where I could connect with them culturally. The compassion comes in there. I feel that working with them and helping them to get over this period of grief, or maybe that mental health stigma kind of attached to it, is something I'm very passionate about. I have been working with different immigrant families, and the cultural part has been really, really strong in there, because you're able to connect on a different level with them. And when you kind of speak their language, you know the culture well, and then they kind of connect with you too, because I think they kind of feel that, yes, there's somebody who's there to understand us, who actually has a similar background and is able to connect with us and be on the same page with us.
Yeah, that's great. And again, we're lucky to have you and,
Thank you.
and try to fill that gap, right? My last question, maybe you could comment on that, Hanna, is if there's a parent that's watching this program, for example, and they're thinking about maybe getting help, either for themselves, they might have a neurodivergent child at home, or they may be a person that is a recent immigrant. What suggestions would you give about getting some assistance? What would you advise?
I would advise the parents, early intervention is very, very important. If you're trying to get help for your child, not to think too much about it. And getting help doesn't mean there's something wrong. Getting help means that you want to fix things, right? Or you want to support your child. Getting help for yourself, if that's what you need, then that's something you should recognize and step up for it. Because then again, I would reiterate, getting help doesn't mean that there's something wrong and has to be fixed, right?
Yeah.
It could be just support you're looking for, or just somebody to speak to, and just about something you want to vent about, right? And it could help with any kind of struggle in life which you might be facing. So it's not directed towards and there's a lot of stigma towards getting mental health help or therapy. You might just call it coaching.
Yeah.
You might just call it a friend to talk to.
Yeah, and it really sounds like it's all about growth. It's all about growth strategy. It's all about how I move forward. It's all about growth mindset. That's wonderful. Thanks so much. Hey everybody, we've been chatting with Hanna Dar today. Thank you, Hanna, for joining us. You know all the ways to stay in touch with us. We'll flash those up on the screen as well. And please stay tuned for our next episode on ChangeWorks Interactive. Thank you very much.